Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Perhaps you've already noticed, but I've got a bit of a thing for vintage, retro, motor racing inspired chronographs. I wonder where I get that from. I've looked at a number of them already on the channel. I think they provide a really interesting alternative everyday piece if you don't fancy wearing a dive watch on your wrist. I've looked at a couple by Stratton, one by Nezumi and one by Reverie, all having certain characteristics in common. Sapphire crystal, a bit of lume, a decent level of water resistance, and of course the added practicality that comes from that chronograph function. However, they've all had another thing in common. They've all been north of $400, which is a chunk of money to spend on a timepiece like this one. Today, something similar but a little bit different. This is a watch by Rue that offers essentially the same set of specifications for only $255. Now the packaging on this one is quirky, it's fantastic, so today a little bit of an unboxing and review together. Let's flip the camera and get a look at it then. So who are Rue and what do they do? Well, Rue combine elements of classic cars, Scandinavian furniture and German industrial design into a series of handsome and remarkably affordable timepieces, according to their website anyway. Rue is owned by a gentleman called Alex. Alex actually got in touch with me after I had reviewed my first Stratton, saying that, look, we do something similar, motorsport inspired timepieces, chronographs, but at a more affordable price point. So a big thank you to Alex for sending me this one in for review. It should be noted that this and all other Rues come with a 2-year international warranty, which is pretty decent considering this one is a quartz piece. 1 year is more normal with quartz. And also should be noted it comes in a fairly quirky little box. Check it out there. And you pop the top and you see the head of the watch and the 2 supplied straps, one leather and one silicone. So one for during the week, one for the weekend. And once you've peeled off the stickers and made a strap choice, you are greeted with a rather attractive looking 1970s vintage racing inspired chronograph. So all the usual good stuff today then. We'll get into this one, some dimensions and specifications, we'll do a lume shot, we'll do a wrist shot, we'll pop it on both of the strap offerings and some more subjective analysis at the end, letting you know whether I think this one is a good choice or you should be saving up for one of those more expensive pieces that I mentioned in the intro. So this is the CHR1, CHR meaning chronograph fairly obviously, and 1 because it's the first of 3 different colorways that are available for this particular model. This one, 41.5mm diameter, we've got a 22mm lug width, quite a very nice taper actually on that vintage racing style strap. Thickness of only 11mm today because it is quartz, and we've got a lug tip to lug tip of just about 48mm. Weighed in on this one, the leather strap as fitted now, this one comes in at about 75 grams, so nice and light for everyday wear. Let's start the chrono for a bit of visual interest today. And there it goes, spinning away. Now, we don't specify the particular movement used in this one. They just say it's a Japanese Miyota movement. If anyone has any clue as to what this is likely to be, please leave me a comment. That would be much appreciated. As you can see, it's a 1-hour chronograph timer today. So the dial whizzing away up at the 12, adding a little bit of visual interest today. Measuring out every 20th of a second, and we've got the sub-dial at 9 o'clock going up to 60 minutes before it resets. One press of the top pusher to start, as you saw, one press to stop, and it stopped there at a 20th of a second, and one push of the bottom pusher to reset. All pretty straightforward, but a nice useful feature there for timing up to 1 hour. Date complication, as you can see there, at the 3 o'clock, a nicely integrated window too. Black PVD coated 316L stainless steel case today, fairly simple case, nice and smooth, no rough edges anywhere on that one. And as you can see there, we've got a kind of slightly bead blasted effect on the pushers and the crown, but unsigned crown. We do have a little bit of knurling for grip, but not signed. Case back is pretty simple, nice kind of checkered flag etching on there, all stainless steel, advertising the Japanese movement. 5 atmospheres water resistance, anything better than 3 atmospheres is a bonus on this style of watch, but as always, don't be pressing those pushers underwater. And Japanese movement and sapphire crystal there, screwed down obviously, as you can see. Zoomed in on the dial there, and we've got a nice colour scheme. Alex said this one was his favourite, which is why he sent me the CHR1. Kind of muted champagne grey type colour on the dial, and a kind of muted orange to the hands and the little chapter ring there, some of the tachymeter indices. Bit of depth to the dial as well. We've got a chapter ring and slightly recessed, sunken sub-dials there at the 12 and the 9 o'clock. Just a simple painted frame, no applied indices or anything today. It's all painted, little painted date frame around the date window there at the 3 o'clock also. Now I'll pop up a Lume video, but I'm a little bit confused by this one if I'm being honest. As you can see, the two sub-dials and the chronometer hand far more visible than either the hour or the minute marker are. So gentlemen, if you want to time some nocturnal activities, whatever they may be, you're well catered for, so long as you don't take more than an hour doing it. Unfortunately, you just won't be able to tell what time it is while you're doing it. Not sure about the Lume on this one today then. The strap is pretty decent though, a little bit cushioned there as well. We've got the Ru logo on the similar to the pushers there, the kind of bead blasted finish on that one, and we've got Ru embossed on the back there. And there is the watch sitting on top of my 7-inch wrist. Looks very 1970s, that big kind of cushion style case there. 48mm lug to lug, so sits quite flat but quite light, so it looks pretty good. On the racing strap there, the black leather racing strap, perhaps this is the one that you wear Monday to Friday, if this is indeed going to be that everyday alternative to the dive watch that I mentioned in the intro, then I'd be going for the leather strap during the week with this one, and for the weekends you can pop it on the black silicone strap. Very comfortable, this one, very soft and supple. I do really appreciate when a watch company gives you a couple of different looks, couple of different alternatives, nice branded straps as well, not generic stuff, nice branded buckles also. Very much appreciate that. So only 50 meters water resistance as mentioned, so you're going to be able to get it wet, perhaps not to any great degree though with this one. No scuba diving certainly, but certainly adding a little bit of versatility then to this one if it is a choice for everyday wear. And zoomed out for a little more perspective there. Nice dead flat. Perhaps it would be nicer to see a little bit of doming on that sapphire to complement the curves of the case, but it doesn't look too bad given that it's flat. So what do I think of this Ru then? Well, styling not quite as out there as some of the Stratons I've looked at, not quite as old-fashioned-y as the Reverie and the Nezumi as well, and obviously a fair chunk cheaper than all of the watches that I have just mentioned at only $255 as opposed to over $400. I would have preferred to have seen better lume on those hands, certainly. I think that's the problem. Once you add pigment to lume, you do tend to lose the effect. And I'd have preferred, as I said, a dome piece of sapphire and 100 meters of water resistance. But overall, an interesting choice, this one. If Ru start doing automatics, I think they'd be onto a real winner. We can only hope for that in the future. So there you have it, another angle on the retro racing inspired chronograph today by Ru. Now you're not getting a Seiko Mecha Quartz at this price point, but you are getting a lovely looking watch that has the same degree of practicality as its more expensive cousins up there around the $400 mark. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.